Have you ever been invited to give a message and the very thought of it just filled your soul with anxiety? Or maybe even thinking of you standing in front of others or on a video or something, it just totally stresses you out. Well, don't worry, my friend. You're not alone. I have been there as well. I came from a video game background experience, and talking in front of people is the last thing you would ever expect me to do. In fact, public speaking is one of the largest fears, and studies have shown that people fear public speaking more than they fear death. That means people, when you go to a funeral, the people would rather be in the casket than they would giving the eulogy. Think about that. Why is it that people are so afraid of speaking in front of others or giving a message? And there's so much uncertainty. It's what if they say the wrong thing? Or what if I lose my words, or I forget what I'm going to say? Or what if all of these things, fear of rejection, fear of failure, fear of the unknown, fear of so many different fears and perplexities come. And so today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the only three things that you need to give a message. With these three things, you will be equipped to be ready at any time, any place, to give an answer, to give a message, and to share with others what God has shared with you. But first, my name is Enoch Leffingwell, and here at the Army of Youth, we are passionate about helping young people to identify their unique talents and to dedicate them to the Lord's service. And communication is one of those talents. So if you're interested in learning how you can identify your talents and dedicate them to Christ's service, subscribe, follow us so that you can get notified when there's more messages like this. So these three things I'm going to share with you, the only three things you need to give a message, is this framework that is very simple, and that is hook, story, and offer. Now, what is that? A hook is something that catches people's attention. A story is an example, or it's the bulk of what you're going to teach. It's the concepts that you're going to share. And the offer is some sort of practical appeal, or something that you could apply to their life, something that can make a difference in their life, or something you want them to do. So I'm going to go into more detail, and I'm going to show you through the scriptures how this framework has applied in hook, story, offer in the life of Christ, because Christ's method alone is going to bring true success in giving a message to others. And you can apply this to anything in life, any opportunity where you have to give a message. But first, when dealing with any presentation, Isaiah 46 and verse 9 and 10, God declares the end from the beginning. So the best thing that we want to do is begin with the end in mind. The first step of this hook, story, offer, even though when you deliver it, it's in that order, when you prepare it and think through your message, you want to start with the offer first. You have to ask yourself, what is the point of your message? Why are you speaking? What do you want the people to do? What do you want the people to see? What do you want the people to feel? What do you want them to understand or walk away with? What problem are you solving? What action do you want them to take as a result of your message? You have to be very clear on what this is. In Christ's method of laboring with people, he always gave them, when he would heal the people, he would say, go and sin no more. When he would offer people salvation, he would offer them this plan of salvation. He would give them something better than what they had currently. Christ's method was to minister to people's needs. You have to be very clear. What do you have of value that you are offering to others? Is it a decision that will help them to transform their life? Is it a decision to make a commitment to learn a new habit or take a new skill, or maybe click on a link or go to something that you have available to add more value or to serve the message or the audience that you are serving at a higher level? You have to be very clear be intentional with your messages. For many years, I just spoke on all sorts of different things and I had no rhyme or reason. And I wouldn't say rhyme or reason, but I would just share things, but it wasn't as tactful, or it wasn't as tactical or intentional about how it was structured. It wasn't until I learned this hook, story, offer framework that it completely simplified every time I had to give a message. So start with the end in mind and to craft an irresistible offer, something that you can give to the people as a result of what they hear that will make add value to their life, a decision or a link or something that you are asking. Begin with that first. This is also known as a call to action. And many times in publishing, when you're recording a video, when you're writing up maybe a microblog, which is like just a few hundred characters, like in an Instagram post or a Facebook post, you could write not a full-length blog, but just a microblog. And what is it that you want them to do? Begin with the end in mind. Get very clear on what that is. Never, friends, never give a message without giving people appeals at the end or an invitation to do something with your message. Otherwise, you're just talking at people and there's no practical, tangible value that they can immediately apply to their life. That is the one mistake that beginning speakers and communicators make, is they just communicate without any purpose behind why are they recording videos, why are they publishing, writing articles, why are they getting in front of any audience, anywhere, if they are not clear on what they are having to offer that will benefit and help those individuals. Every message is solving a problem. What problem are you solving? Get very clear on that and begin with that first. So once you have the offer, then you can move on to the hook. Because the hook is so essential. I'll give you an example. When Jesus in John chapter 4, when he was speaking to the woman at the well, he used to break the ice or to catch the attention was he was at the well and he's like, "Woman, give me to drink." And she's like, "What? How is it that you, being a Jew, ask a drink of me, a woman of Samaria?" So he piqued their curiosity. A hook is something that hooks their attention. It hooks their curiosity and engages interest, mystery, intrigue. And Jesus used a hook with her, and he said, "Woman, if you knew who it was that asketh drink of thee, you would be asking for living water." And that's another like curiosity-based. And she's like, "Wait, what? Well, tell me more about this living water." And they began to talk about the Messiah. They talked about the prophecies and Jacob's well and their fathers and how they worship in spirit and in truth. That's the story. That's the framework that he took her through, the gospel message. And then she realized who he was. And then he was offering her this. Then he said, "If you drink of this water, you will never thirst again. In fact, you'll be a wellspring springing up into everlasting life." He was offering her salvation that is ever flowing, a joy unspeakable that you will be imparting to everyone. You can't contain it. And immediately she dropped her water pot, went to her household. She's like, "Come, meet this man who told me all things that I ever did. Is he not the Christ?" And so she accepted his offer and led an entire city to come out and receive his offer as well. But Christ was using this hook. "Woman, give me to drink." What? Because the Jews have no dealing with the Samaritans. He disrupted her pattern of thinking, disrupted what the common thing was. And once he grabbed her attention, went on to share the story of salvation, the story of the prophecies, the stories of what he knew, and then offered her the living waters. So just like Christ's method, we can follow that too. But a hook has to be curiosity-based. A lot of reasons why people publish and they share things, and people don't click on it, they don't look at it, is because their hook is not interesting enough, or it's not curiosity-based. They'll just tell them everything about the video right there in the title. Or people would title sermons or messages where it's like the rich man blank, and that's it. Or something weird where it's like the title's like a high headline, the title that we choose, that's part of your hook. If you got a bad headline, then people won't want to see what you have to offer. The hook is one of the most important because it's the first point of contact. You can have amazing content. You can have amazing message, super powerful, life transforming. But if your hook is bad, you will never get it in front of the people who need to see it the most. So that's something that we got to consider. When Jesus was speaking to the fishermen and he called them as they were on the boat fishing, he said, "Hey, follow me and I will make you fishers of men." That was his hook. That was him speaking in that language. And as you're fishing for men, you use a hook, you use bait, you catch people, and you have to be crafty, you have to be intentional, or there's a skill that you could pray and cultivate. And how can you speak in a way that people actually want to listen? And so your hook would be the first 5 seconds of your video. A hook would be the title of your video. It would be the thumbnail on YouTube, on Instagram, or wherever. that thumbnail is like the cover of the book. People say you can't judge a book by its cover, but they do. That cover is the hook. And if it doesn't catch their attention, they're not going to pick it up and read the first pages. So that's step number one. But in your hook, the bait that you use determines the fish that you attract, that you catch. So if we want to be fishers of men, we have to recognize that the hook is the thing that grabs the attention of who you are, who you're attracting. Your message determines your audience. So if you want to reach the world, then you need to speak in languages that the world would understand. There's a lot of like church watchwords and jargon or lingo that only people in the church, they really understand and they get that. And if you're using all of this church language, then you're really limiting the people to one denomination or one church, or if they're not a part of you, you're already pushing them away just by the hook and the words that you choose. So you want to make sure that your hook at the beginning is actually in harmony with your offer. That's why your offer should be first, and based on your offer, reverse engineer and work backwards where how can I make the hook grab the attention of people who would accept or who have the problem that I'm offering to solve. Whatever that looks like, in all of your messaging, you could use this. So that's the hook. Now, a story is like Revelation 12:11. The Bible says they overcome Satan by the blood of the Lamb and the word of their testimonies. Testimonies are powerful. People love testimonies. They love to hear stories of how people overcame. It could be an experience of not just the verse, but how did you overcome with that verse. But many times the verses in Scripture are sharing a story of Jesus, a story of the cross, a story of Moses, a story of Daniel, all of these things. So any of the verses that you share, the bulk of your message, that is your story. Or maybe it's a framework. It's a step-by-step process to get a specific result or solve a small problem. Whatever it is, people love listicles. So if you got a framework that's like step 1, 2, 3, 4 to get X result, then people like that. So that's where your story is in the center. That's the bulk of your message. That's where a lot of that goes. And you want to make sure that the story that you share is in harmony with the hook. If people click because they have, it says like a way to get $5 million in 5 minutes, and then they click it, and then you see that it's like cat videos, you're like, oh, okay, that had nothing to do with the hook. So people will bounce off and they don't want that. That's called clickbait. And that's a great way to lose rapport and not connect with others. But in like manner with messages, where if your title is promising one thing and your message is on a whole nother topic, then there's a disconnect. People don't want to hear it, and then they lose interest and they leave. So you have to make sure your hook aligns with your offer, and that your story aligns with your hook and your offer. So everything is leading up to the offer. All of it's very intentional. Every word you say is helping to lend towards that one thing that you're offering, that decision to give their heart to Christ, to climb up higher, to dedicate themselves to Christ's service, or an epiphany to help them to realize that like communication is a talent that every man, woman, and child has, and we would do well to cultivate to God's glory. Whatever the case is that you're trying to get people to believe or to do or to see or to feel, whatever that is, make sure everything in your story is leading to that one big idea, that one offer that you're trying to share with them. So when you get the hook, story, offer framework, it lays a foundation for everything that you share. So I'll give you some quick examples where when you are giving a testimony at church, during prayer and testimony, often I'll say something like, hey, I'm so thankful. It's like, I just learned something powerful this week. That's a hook. And it's like, I found that by being more grateful in my life, that I'm seeing more things to be grateful for. And I really appreciate, this is a story, I really appreciate how many lessons are there if we only open our eyes. That's a story. Now the offer is like, hey, if you guys want a study that I've done on gratitude, just reach out to me and I'd love to share with you a devotional document that I've done. That's the offer. Or maybe you have a live video, and you'll see in all of my live videos, I start with a hook, something to grab your attention. Then I go into a framework, a series of Bible verses, stories in the Bible, or my own experience, intertwined with the message that I'm sharing with you. And then the offer, I'm always offering a call to action like, hey, comment below, let me know what you learned most. Tell me what you're going to do. Or come up higher, or let me share with you this related link or something that we can help benefit your life. So that's with the live video. The same thing with the microblog. Your microblog offer might be, or the hook, you only have like one sentence that people can listen to or that they could read. And if it doesn't catch their attention one sentence, then they won't read everything else you write. So make sure that first line is very curiosity based to hook their attention. And then the offer might be like, hey, if you want to apply this to your life, comment below. Here I am, Lord, send me. I'm ready. I want to be sent. I want to apply this to my life. Let me know in the comments, or whatever the call to action might be. Or it might be to tag a friend below. That would be the hook, story, offer in a microblog. Even in a story post, which is 15 seconds, you could say something like when I have time with my family, my squads, my online Bible studies. I love these people. I'll get on there and I'll pull up my phone. I'll be like, hey guys, it's like, are you looking for fellowship? Do you want to have more Christian friends that support you and encourage you along your Christian journey? Well, I just got off this super encouraging Bible study with my family. I would love you to meet them. Come, if you're interested in a link, reach out to me and I will give you more information. Boom, that's my 15-second hook, story, offer. Hook can often be a question. Are you interested in fellowship? Story, I just had fellowship with some amazing people I consider my online family. And then offer, reach out to me if you want more information. So that's very simple. 15 seconds, hook, story, offer. You could do it in 15 seconds, 15 minutes, or 50 minutes, or 3 hours. It's whatever it is. It's the same framework. Hook, story, offer. It's the only 3 things that you need to give a message. And if you apply these things, you'll be able to help catch people's attention, and you'll be able to share the message that God has given to you. And you'll be able to overcome a lot of the fear and the anxiety of not knowing what to say or how to do it. I'm so grateful that ministers, mentors of mine have sat me down and helped me to understand these concepts so that I could share with others. So I'm passing it on to you. And again, if this video is a blessing to you, who do you know that wants to communicate or could be encouraged, who this could benefit? Tag them below, let them know, or share this video with them so that they could be benefited too, so that they can understand the 3 things that are needed to share a message. And if you like this, subscribe to our channel. We have more videos like this, and we teach people how to identify their unique talents, dedicate them to the Lord's service. I'm so happy that you're able to join us. If you are interested, we have some online groups, squads, Bible studies, where there's people from all over the world. My offer to you today is that I want to introduce you to my friends. If you want practice, how you can use the hook, story, offer, every week we go through these Bible studies and we teach people how to find direction, how to live their calling, how to understand the will of God. And there's young people from all around the world. They're growing in their skills. They're learning the tools and the frameworks just like this to give Bible studies. If you want to contribute, if you want to be blessed spiritually, join our squads. It's just an hour a week. If you want to, you can go to thearmyofyouth.com/squads to find out more information. Again, that is thearmyofyouth.com/squads, and you can learn more information. I'd love to see you there, and I want to introduce you to my friends. Remember, God doesn't call the qualified. He qualifies the called.